Hey guys, it's Rory, and today I'm going to give you guys what you guys have all been waiting for. My top 15 albums of the year, or not really of the year because the year has just started, 2020, but of 2019 top albums, and yeah, just some recommendations for me if you want to hear my favorites and hear some more new music that you haven't heard from the previous year. So yeah, let's just get right into it. First three honorable mentions for me are Lana Del Rey's Norman effing Rockwell, Danny Brown's You Know What I'm Saying, and Lingua Ignota's Caligula. All great albums, just couldn't get on my list because I really had to narrow it down, but definitely check out all of these albums. They're really great, and yeah, let's get into my top 15. At number 15, I chose Madlib and Freddie Gibbs' collaboration album Pinata. Oh wait, is it Pinata or... Hold up, let me check. My mistake, it was actually Bandana. That's their newest album, but I was thinking about Pinata because I love that album. It's everything I like from Madlib. Tons of great beats, very old school, and then Freddie Gibbs' amazing flow, very lyrical, all put together into one album. And in this album, they just refined that sound, made more tracks, even more original, put them into a new album, and yeah, it's great. Listen to it if you want to hear some new hip-hop, and if you're into the oldies. Next is Kanye West, Jesus is King, at number 14. And I chose this album because I'm not that much of a religious guy, and this album's basically just like Jesus rap. But I thought it kind of touched me in a way because it was hated by a lot of people, number one, because his album Yandhi was going to come out and then he chose this. But I feel this was a great direction for him, very new for him. The songs are a bit more gospel-y, but then still that kind of driven sound, especially on songs like Salah, giving me some Kid See Ghost vibes. And yeah, just overall great album. Listen to it if you're a Kanye fan, if you haven't. And yeah. Next, at number 13, I choose Doja Cat's Hot Pink. And yeah, just a great pop album from Doja Cat. Except it's not only pop, there's tons of influences. There's definitely a hip-hop influence on songs like Rules, and then even an African influence on songs like Don't Bite. And then Say So, just straight up kind of mainstream pop almost, but just really refined, just kind of great, everything I like from mainstream pop into one song. And yeah, just great pop album with tons of influences all over the place. Listen to it. Next up at number 12, I choose DaBaby's Baby on Baby. And this is just everything I like from DaBaby. His flows, his amazing beats from his many producers that worked on this album. Funny lines all over the place, all put into one album. Each song is very original, just like most of the albums I've talked about so far. And yeah, just great hip-hop record if you want to hear something kind of new and fun to turn up to, but also it's just overall structurally a good album. So yeah, check it out. Next up at number 11, I choose Sadie Morg's Volume 2, As Good as Dead. Yeah, As Good as Dead. I thought it was As Good as Hell, but that would be a little bit too positive. And yes, it's very kind of negative at times, but also kind of has that strong, triumphant sound. And they're like, oh yeah, I'm a gangsta. I can beat up everyone I see. And you can definitely tell by their aggressiveness on this album. And it's definitely something, if you're doing some hard work, listen to it. I was designing some clothes listening to it, and it really worked. Just works in a lot of good settings, even if they're really calm, if you want to get pumped up. And yeah, just great album. Although very thrashy, and the vocals are almost metal-ish. And yeah, they're not really holding back. So if you want to listen to some easy listening, this album's not for you. Next up at number 10 is Denzel Curry's Zoo. And he went back to his kind of South Side influence on here, kind of gangsta rapish at times, maybe even some G-funk on some tracks. But tracks like Ricky, a homage to his dad, is just a great track. It's snappy, straight to the point, tons of bars, kind of the aggressiveness that he has, except a little bit more laid back than usual. And very hard punching beats, very fun to listen to, great to turn up to. And yeah, listen to this album if you want to have some fun. Number 9, taking it a little bit calmer, is James Blake's Assumed Form. And this one came out pretty early in the year, so it kind of let me think about this album and really understand how much I like it. And although it's not as fast-paced as some of the albums on here, and there's not as much kind of going on Structurally, I think it goes well, smoothly, track by track. It just is very well composed. And you can tell that he put a lot of time into tracks like Barefoot in the Park with Rosalia. Both performed amazing on that track, and every performance, either him or with his features, is great on this album. So yeah, check this out if you haven't, and bring some tissues because it's pretty sad. A little bit of a switch back. 100 gecs, 1,000 gecs at number 8. And how I would describe this is, I mean, overall it's kind of hip-hop-y. Like, the beats are kind of hip-hop-ish, and the vocals, not with the auto-tune and the high-pitched stuff, are kind of like the rapping at times. But yeah, like I said, very high-pitched with tons of auto-tune, and it's just a very wacky album all over the place. There's even ska influence on songs like Stupid Horse, and songs like Money Machine just get drilled into your head and stuck into your head almost every day, at least for me. But I'm not angry about it because each track on here is really interesting and innovative and fun to listen to. So very wacky, kind of, you have to listen to it a couple of times to really let it grow on you. And don't look for any lyrical stuff in here because it's literally songs about horses and stuff. So yeah, check this out. After that, at number 7 is FKA Twigs' Magdalene, another more calm album, but I used to like FKA Twigs, but this album really pushed me to love her music. It's everything that I've liked in her older albums, except in kind of a new sound that's more polished. I know I'm using that word a lot, but there's even like, it kind of sounds medieval at times, but then very snappy production, distortion, everything that I like in kind of art pop, because it is an art pop album, and experimental at times, but beautiful overall, track by track. And yeah, not a bad track on this album, so definitely check it out. After that is JPEG Mafia's All My Heroes Are Cornballs, and although the title sounds very wacky and kind of dumb, because all my heroes are cornballs, I mean, listen to it. That is definitely not the album that you're about to hear. Although wacky as in experimental and avant-garde and all over the place, melodically, and if there even are melodies on some tracks, and beat-wise, Peggy produces everything on this. He goes crazy, yelling on all of the tracks, and really, even on some songs like Jesus Forgive Me, I Am a Thought, he's saying, I put my soul into every verse and every bar, and I can totally agree with him because every single song is so clean, although distorted at times and kind of dirty, but lyrically and beat-wise. But yeah, you can tell that he put his heart and soul into each track. And yeah, shout out to JPEG Mafia for supporting me, and I had to support you back with this amazing album. So yeah, check it out. After that, at number 5, I chose Brockhampton's Ginger. A bit more of a sad turn, but then there's tracks like Boy Bye, which make you want to bounce around, listen to some happy stuff, just take a walk in the park and bump this song with the windows down all over the place. I just love this whole album, although it's kind of up and down between happy and sad and bumping beats and kind of laid back stuff. Overall, it's just beautiful. Like songs like Ginger are very calm and just laid back, but then also, even though there's like auto-tune and effects on it, it just like really sounds good. And yeah, I kind of don't have words for this album because I love it so much. So you have to listen to it because that's how much it emotionally impacts me, and I think it'll impact you. So yeah, check it out. Then at number 4 is Tyler The Creator's Igor, and I didn't like this album at the start because I thought it was going to be some more Flower Boy, even some Cherry Bomb, and there is Cherry Bomb production over this album, a lot of distortion and stuff, but that doesn't change the fact that it is very danceable and very fun and upbeat at times. But talking about breaking up with someone who Tyler was in a big relationship with, I'm not sure who he's addressing, maybe just a bunch of people overall. But yeah, overall, very great album, track by track. Each one is amazing, and it flows very well. And yeah, it just feels like you're watching a movie, except musically. So yeah, check out this album if you haven't, which I highly doubt. But if you haven't and you've been living under a rock, please listen to this. Down at my number 3, my top 3 albums. At number 3 is Weather Days Come In. This is such a crucial album for all of Midwest emo and lo-fi emo, lo-fi rock even, maybe even noise rock at times. but it's very emotional at times. This is another one that feels like a movie because track by track, it just flows so well, and it feels like there's a full-on storyline going on. And Weather Day, their music is really impactful, and you can tell that they put their heart and soul into it. And yeah, overall great album, track by track, very great, very unique each track, just for the artist, and also each track is just very interesting. Like each one is different from the last one. So yeah, definitely check this album out if you haven't. And yeah, very underrated. Please check it out. I know I'm saying check it out a lot, but you need to check this one out. Number 2, I had to give it to my boys, Black Midi, Schlagenheim. I love this album. I'd say it's a mix of noise rock, experimental rock, and even math rock at times. Every single rock that I like. Maybe some stones, maybe even some pebbles. I'm sorry about that pun. It was horrible, but I had to put that in. But yeah, my friends at Black Midi, I actually got to drum with them, so you can see my video, probably recommended somewhere over here at the end of the video. But yeah, if not, check it out. But overall, let's stop talking about me. This album is so great, and this is another album. I'd say all like my top 5 albums just flow so smoothly, and each track is amazing and not easy listening again. It's very punching at times, very thrashy guitars, just very revved up, guitar heavy, and then Morgan at the drums, just going crazy. Sound like he has 5 drumsticks, and 5 arms, and maybe 2 drum sets, because he's going crazy. Very complex music, and you have to really turn on your brain listening to this. Then Jordy's wailing at you. It's really just like intense at all directions, but you know I love that. So definitely check this album out. Very underrated, but I think these guys are doing big things and are going to be one of the biggest rock bands in the future, most influential. So yeah, check this album out if you haven't. And at number one, I had to give it to Injury Reserve, their self-titled album. Check the t-shirt, got the merch at their shows, but yes, I go to almost every one of their shows. They always hook me up, and I really appreciate the support from you guys. And of course, like I did with Tyler The Creator and Brockhampton and everyone else, I had to support you guys back even more because this album is so great. Everything I love in hip-hop. The bars are amazing, funny at times, and then sad at times, and just kind of, it represents a lot of emotions within the lyrics and also within the tracks, productions and stuff. And the production, Parker, amazing. You always do great. And yeah, overall just great album. And yeah, I'm kind of becoming speechless again because this is another great album that you should definitely check out if you haven't. Great hip-hop record if you're into hip-hop, or even if you're not. It's a great introduction in my opinion. So yeah, if you guys like this list, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more videos like this. And I'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye.